Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Deepak Kumar, and today we are going to discuss question number 15, threesome, and the LeetCode. Now, today the question is: if we are given an integer array of integers named nums, and there we have to return a triplet of nums I, nums j, and nums k, where j, I, and k are not same, and their sum is equal to zero. Now, for example, the here in example of one, the nums given is minus one, 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2. So our answer can be minus 1, minus 1, 2. The sum of that array triplet is 0. And again, it can be minus 1, 0, or 1. Now, if there is if there are some multiple duplicates, some duplicates in the of the triplet, then we have to remove that. Like for example, my array is something like 1, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 1. Now, if I can think of taking I equals to 0, j equals to 2, and k equals to 3, then we can form a triplet of 1, 0, minus 1. And if we take the ijk as of I equals to 1, j equals to 0, and k equals to 4, then again we can have a triplet of 1, 0, and minus 1. But as these two are same, we have to remove one of them. So now let's see how we can do it. First of all, there is a brute force method where we will just go for the we will just use three for loops which are nested in which will be nested in nature, and we will check if their sum is zero. But now, since you can see the length of nums array can be 3000, and making a cube can be a large number which will give you the time limit. So what we are gonna do now? We can now just simply use three pointer system here. It will solve the question in just n square time complexity. So now let's check it out. But before that, we only use two pointer system generally in sorted arrays. So we will sort our array first, and for that, right now I am going to use inbuilt method, and now as my array is sorted, what I'll do next is to check the sum. So I will start the loop, and here we will mention a two new variables which will be left and right. And now, not to worry, I will explain you every step. Now, we will start another while loop where we will compare for each left and right. While my left should be less than right. What I will do is if my nums of I plus nums of j plus nums of k equals to 0, then what I will do is to add the array in the resultant variable. So for that, let's declare a array. But now, as you know, the vectors in the result of the resultant must store another vector. So let's make a vector type of array. Now let's push into the array. But for that, we will use a process. And now we will push the vector A. Now we will check if our summation is greater than 0. Then what we will do? Please change the variables here as I have taken by mistake as I, j and k, but it should be I left and right. Now if my summation is greater than 0, what I will do is to decrement the right so that it comes to the lower side. Else we will just increase the left, so it might go to the higher side. Now here comes a problem. Let's check it with example. Now my array is something like 1, sorry, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, comma 0, comma 0, comma 0, comma 1, comma 1, comma 1. Now as you can see, if we are talking about like something like 1 minus 1, comma 0, comma 0, comma minus 1. If we are going to take three triplets like some 1, 2, and 3, then we are going to have multiple same. Then we are going to have some same digit values. Now, if we are done for minus 1, then we should not take minus 1 again as a I equals to minus. In this example, if we are taking I equals to minus, nums of I equals to minus 1, then we will have every possible value for which the triplet sum will be 0. So next time we should not take minus 1 as equal to nums of I. So we will have to avoid every nums of I. And not only that, if we have taken minus 1 as the nums of I for first time, and I already have 0, and I got the third triplet, and not only that, if I have taken nums of I equals to minus 1, and in the triplet it contains minus 1, 0, and 1, then in the second triplet of minus 1 as nums of I should avoid taking 0 as the second number. As given, if two number of the triplet is same and the sum is same, obviously by the question, then the third number will obviously be same, which will repeat the answer. So we will have to avoid that number 2. Now, but how we will be doing that? So first of all, we are going to avoid the I section. If my nums of I equals nums of I minus 1 and I should be greater than 0, then what I will have just to do is to continue. Now what is going to happen here? If my if I have already gone for minus 1 once, then I won't go for this one and this one as nums of I equals to minus 1. But some of you might think like why not going for why not skipping for the first time only, and then we will check for the last one directly. It might be easier, like something like writing in conditions nums of I equals nums of I plus 1. Basically, I did the same mistake. It's wrong. And why it is so? Let me prove you by an example. If my if my array is minus 1, and 2, then what will happen here? When my when my if condition will see that minus 1 equals minus 1, which is nums of 0 equals nums of 1, it will skip 1. It will skip the num 0 in this section, and then we will just have minus 1 and 2 as the remaining num. But we don't have to do that because the answer is minus 1 and 2. So we can't do this. So now going up. So hope you understand why I did this. And now moving on to the repetition part in the JF section, in the second one. So what we will do is to check if my nums of left plus 1 equals nums of left, then we will increase left. And if my if the nums of right is exactly same as nums of right minus 1, then again what we will do is to decrement in a right. And more importantly, not to mention, we will have to increment in left and decrement in right. But why? Because if we don't do that, and if my and if this this statement uh, goes through, then we will never have the increment, and it will never uh, terminate the loop, and will go in the infinite looping section, infinite loop. So we will have to make sure these two lines are present. And now we will return we will return our vector. Now let's try out the code. Now you can see there is a runtime error, but but some of you have already decoded the solution, and the solution stored here. It is in line number 6. And why the code seems perfect? The I starts from 0 and goes to till the length of nums minus 1. So where is the problem? The problem is we will have to use this line. We will have to leave the last two elements, else we will not have the sufficient left and right value, and we will be thrown an error. So let's try it again. So now let's try the code again. Now you can see all the test cases have been cleared. And please make sure that you write the statement here in the same order, else you can have the error. Now let me show you. I'm just commenting out the first one, and then I will add I is greater than 0 in the last. Now you can see there is a runtime error. Why is it so? It is because at I equals to 0, it just checks for this one first, and then it will go for the second. It will go for the second. At I equals to 0, our compiler will check for the first condition. And here I minus 1, which is 0 minus 1, is going out of bound, and that's why it is a runtime error. So please make sure to not to write in this manner, and to write I is greater than 0 in first. So now let's check our test cases again. Then we will add some of our own test cases. Then we will submit the code. Now you can see all the test cases have been cleared. So let's try some of our own. I'm going to give some random numbers. Now let's see. As you can see, all the test cases I have given has cleared the value. So let's try submitting the code. Now you can see all the test cases given in this question have been cleared and it's accurate. So this is all for today, and we have done learned about the three pointers question, where we use three pointer to cover a code which was done which was of time complexity O n cube in O n squared, and which no such big space complexity other than storing the result. So this is all for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like our content. Thank you.